Wrestling fam, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, the ultimate destination where we don't just skim the headlines but go straight for the jugular of professional wrestling's most explosive and unpredictable stories. And today, what I've got for you isn't just big, it's a nuclear-level detonation in the WWE universe, a moment that's going to ripple through every locker room, every arena, and every storyline for months, maybe even years, to come. I'm talking about the moment that shook SmackDown to its core, the moment Anoa'I, known to the wrestling world as Lance Anoa, finally stepped through the curtain for his long-awaited WWE debut, and instead of joining the side most fans thought he would, he made a decision so shocking, so cutting, and so strategically devastating that it left even the most seasoned wrestling analysts struggling to catch their breath. Yes, he joined forces with Solo Sikoa'S brutal, merciless, and now terrifyingly complete faction, MFD, my family tree. Let that sink in, because this is not just another faction signing a new member. This is an Anoa, a member of the most decorated wrestling family in history, turning his back on blood relatives like Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso to stand shoulder to shoulder with a man who has made it his mission to destroy anything connected to Roman Reigns' bloodline and reshape the family's wrestling legacy in his own image. The timing couldn't have been more perfect, or more deadly. Solo Sikoa'S Mft has been on a warpath for over a year, carving a bloody trail through SmackDown and leaving top stars like Jacob Fatu, Jimmy Uso, and anyone else brave enough to oppose them lying in pieces. They don't just beat their opponents, they dismantle them, they humiliate them, and they send a message that this is their yard now. That dominance reached a fever pitch when Solo, flanked by Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and JC Mateo, dethroned Jacob Fatu for the United States Championship at Night of Champions 2025, thanks to the debut of Hala Tonga, Tama Tonga's real-life brother, who gave MFD yet another destructive weapon. But the August 1, 2025 episode of SmackDown changed everything. On paper, it was already a loaded show with a main event pitting Jacob Fatu against Tama Tonga in a match that promised raw power versus high-flying chaos. The crowd was electric, the stakes high, Fatu still fuming after losing his championship to Solo, Tala eager to prove his place in the faction. The match itself was brutal, both men unloading their arsenals, but just when Fatu looked like he was about to steal the win, MFD swarmed, attacking Fatu and causing a disqualification. The arena erupted in boos as the beatdown intensified, Jimmy Uso rushing to the ring to even the odds, fists flying as he and Fatu fought to stand against Solo, Tala, Tanga Loa, and JC Mateo. For a moment, it looked like we had ourselves a family war right there on SmackDown, until the lights dimmed and an unfamiliar theme hit the speakers. Confusion spread through the arena as the Titantron flashed a name the fans had been whispering about for months, Lance Anoa. The place exploded. Here he was, the next chapter of the Anoa legacy, sprinting to the ring with a steel chair in hand, eyes locked on MFD. Every fan in that building thought they knew what was about to happen. Lance was going to swing for MFD, clear the ring, and stand tall with Fatu and Jimmy Uso, uniting the family in the fight against Solo's rogue empire. But what happened instead will go down as one of the most cold-blooded betrayals in modern WWE history. Without hesitation, Lance swung the chair into Jimmy Uso's back, dropping him instantly, the crowd's cheers turning to stunned gasps and furious boos. Fatu, caught between shock and rage, barely had time to react before Lance drilled him with a superkick that nearly took his head off. The camera caught Solo's smirk as Lance turned to him, and in that moment, every question was answered. Lance wasn't here to save anyone, he was here to join the enemy. The handshake between Solo and Lance was a dagger straight through the heart of the Anoa family's already fragile unity. Solo raised Lance's arm as the words, "This is family, my family tree," echoed over the arena, cementing this as more than just a recruitment. This was a declaration of war. To understand why this is so seismic, you have to look at the history. Lance and Jacob Fatu weren't just family, They were partners, teaming in MLW as the Samoan SWAT team, building a brotherhood inside and outside the ring. For Lance to not only turn on Fatu but do it in his debut, on live TV, in front of the world, it's personal. It's also calculated. By joining MFD, Lance steps immediately into a position of power, not as some rookie trying to prove himself, but as a made man in one of WWE's most dominant factions. For MFD, this is a massive power-up. Solo's ruthless leadership, Tala Tonga's destructive size, JC Mateo's intensity, and now Lance's speed, agility, and family insight create a unit that might be untouchable. They've already taken out Fatu and Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns is out of the picture, for now. Cody Rhodes has a title to defend but might find himself surrounded. The future is wide open for MFD to own SmackDown, if not all of WWE. But it's not just about titles, it's about blood. This move deepens the Anoa'I family rift to levels we haven't seen since the Bloodline Civil War. We're staring down the barrel of a potential Survivor Series War Games match. MFD versus the Bloodline, cousins against cousins, with Paul Heyman's history with both sides adding layers of manipulation and psychological warfare. And in the middle of it all, Lance Anoa'I, wild card, betrayer, possible heir to Solo's empire, or maybe even the man to tear it down from the inside. Fans are split down the middle. Some are calling this the twist WWE needed, the jolt of adrenaline that makes you clear your calendar for Friday nights. Others feel genuinely hurt, seeing someone with Lance's lineage sell out his family for power. But love it or hate it, you can't ignore it. That's the magic of a true game changer. And here's the thing, this story is only just beginning. We could see Lance and Solo go after the undisputed WWE Championship. We could see Lance and Tala form an unstoppable tag team. We could see a civil war inside MFD itself if egos start to clash. Or we could see Roman Reigns return, furious, ready to drag Lance back into the fold, or destroy him for good. Every possibility drips with drama, history, and high stakes. Wrestling fam, what happened on SmackDown wasn't just a debut, it was the lighting of a fuse that's going to burn hotter every week until it explodes into all-out war. Will MFD's grip on SmackDown tighten beyond breaking? Can Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu regroup and find allies? And when Roman Reigns finally re-emerges, will he strike down this new family tree, or will he find himself staring at a future where Solo Sikoa'S vision of the Anoa'I dynasty becomes reality? One thing's for sure, the next chapter in this saga is going to be unmissable, and we're here to cover every twist, every betrayal, and every war cry. Wrestling fam, welcome back to Wrestling Pro News, the place where we don't just report the news, we rip the lid off the most chaotic, jaw-dropping, and game-changing stories in professional wrestling, and today we've got one that's sending shockwaves through the WWE universe like a thunderclap over the Pacific. I'm your host, and this right here is a moment the wrestling world will be talking about for years, because after months of speculation, teases, and cryptic hints, Anoa'I, better known in the wrestling world as Lance Anoa'I, has made his long-awaited WWE debut, and in a move nobody saw coming, he has joined forces with none other than Solo Sikoa'S ruthless faction, MFD, my family tree. Yeah, you heard me, the Anoa'I family legacy just got a brand new branch added to it, and this one's dripping with danger, betrayal, and power plays that could flip WWE upside down overnight. This isn't just another debut, it's a seismic moment in wrestling history. Picture it, Solo Sikoa'S Mft has been tearing through SmackDown like a wrecking ball, flattening every name and every obstacle in their way, leaving destruction and humiliation behind them week after week. They've taken titles, ended careers, and built a reputation as the most feared crew in WWE today. But then came August 1, 2025, an episode of SmackDown already stacked with action, when the wrestling world witnessed something it never imagined. Anoa'I walking down that ramp, steel chair in hand, to the roar of the crowd, and instead of bringing salvation to the battered Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso, he swung that chair like a guillotine, taking Jimmy down and then superkicking Fatu's head off before standing tall beside Solo Sikoa. The arena was stunned into silence before exploding in a mix of rage and disbelief, because this wasn't the Lance they expected. This wasn't the hero to ride in and tip the scales. This was a full-throttle betrayal that rewrote the rules of the Anoa family saga. To really understand how big this is, you have to look at Solo Sikoa's rise, a journey that began with him as the silent enforcer of Roman Reigns' bloodline back in 2021, where he earned his stripes and proved he was more than just Rikishi's son or the Usos' younger brother. He fought his way up from the independent circuit after trading a promising college football career for the Squared Circle, and in WWE, he made an immediate impact, from winning the NXT North American Championship to making his unforgettable main roster debut at Clash at the Castle 2022, where he helped Reigns retain the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. But when cracks began to show in the bloodline, with Jimmy and Jey Uso turning on Roman, Solo's loyalty took a darker turn. He excommunicated Jimmy, clashed with Jey, and eventually, when Roman stepped away, built his own empire, MFD. My family tree became a new kind of dynasty, one that didn't rely on tradition or tribal ceremony, but on brute force, intimidation, and cold-blooded strategy. With recruits like Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, JC Mateo, and later Hala Tonga, MFD became a dominant, feared presence on SmackDown, culminating in Solo winning the United States Championship from Jacob Fatu at Night of Champions 2025. They were already feared, but Lance's arrival changes everything. See, Lance Anoa isn't just another powerhouse, he's family. He's got the bloodline, the pedigree, and the history that makes this alliance sting even more for guys like Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. He and Fatu once teamed together as the Samoan SWAT team in MLW, which means his decision to join MFD and turn on Fatu is more than business, it's personal. Fans expected Lance to unite with Fatu and Jimmy against Solo, to restore some balance in the family war, but instead he's tipped the scales even further toward MFD dominance. Now, MFD stands as a virtually unstoppable force. Solo's ruthless leadership, Tala Tonga's raw size, JC Mateo's vicious style, and Lance's mix of agility, precision, and family insight. They've already taken out Fatu and Jimmy. Now the possibilities are endless. Will they target Roman Reigns himself? Could they set their sights on Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Championship? Or will they lock down every title on SmackDown, leaving no oxygen for anyone else? The implications are massive, because this isn't just about gold, it's about control, respect, and the future of the Anoa family legacy. The wrestling world is buzzing. Some fans love the twist, saying it's the kind of shocking, high-stakes storytelling WWE has been missing, while others feel genuinely betrayed, unable to believe Lance would side with Solo over his other cousins. Either way, it's working, because everyone's talking, and when the whole industry can't stop talking about you, you've already won half the battle. This sets up dream scenarios and brutal wars. MFD versus the Bloodline in a Survivor Series Wargames match, with Heyman's manipulative genius adding gasoline to the fire. A grudge match between Lance and Fatu, filled with bad blood, betrayal, and family pride. Even a future where Lance challenges for the United States Championship, either with Solo's blessing or in a split that tears MFD apart from the inside. And don't think Roman Reigns is going to sit this one out. If and when he returns, you can bet he'll have something to say about Solo building his own dynasty and recruiting Lance. That confrontation, whether verbal or physical, could be one of the most explosive moments in WWE history. So here we are, Wrestling Fam. Lance Anoa'I's debut isn't just a moment, it's a turning point, a catalyst for chaos that could define the next era of WWE. Will MFD steamroll their way to total domination? Can Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu rally allies to fight back? And when Roman Reigns finally steps back into this war, Will he aim to destroy Solo's family tree, or will he find a way to graft it back into his own? The answers are coming, but until then, buckle up, because this saga is just beginning, and the ride is going to be wild.